Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. In this video, I'm playing with some Inktense pencils. These are pretty new for me. My sister-in-law gave them to me for Christmas and I've been having a lot of fun getting to know them. But first things first, let me tell you about this gorgeous stamp set I'm inking up here. This is a new stamp set from Altenew and it's called Amazing You. This stamp set comes with a lot of different flowers and leaves and stems. And they're all drawn so beautifully, I just knew once I saw this that I had to have this set. I'm using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and I'm stamping up each blossom twice. At this point, I don't know what flowers I'm going to use for my card or how I'm going to arrange them. I'm just going to have a lot of fun coloring in these beautiful flowers. So I'm going back and forth between my acrylic block and my Fisker stamp press, depending on the size of the image that I'm stamping out. I'm stamping them out onto some Canson XL watercolor paper. I'm using the rough side of the paper, and so when I stamp it onto the paper, I hold it for a few seconds just to let the ink soak into it. This is such a nice crisp ink, and it is waterproof. I should also mention that this set comes with a lot of great sentiments as well. My favorite sentiment in this set says, "Make today so amazing, yesterday gets jealous." Another sentiment says, "Hello beautiful," and "You are amazing," and the scripts on these sentiments are just pretty as well. Once I have my paper filled up, then I can pull out my Inktense pencils and get coloring. I have the set of 36 pencils, and as you can see here, I made myself a little chart. This is another piece of Canson XL watercolor paper, and I just scribbled out each color and then went over it with a wet brush so that it will show me what the colors look like once they're wet. I love colored pencils, so playing with these watercolor pencils was double the fun for me. Not only do you get to color in the images with the pencil, but you get to go back over it with a water brush. And painting over it with the water brush is just like magic. It just brings the color to life, as you can see here. I kept it pretty simple. I just chose 2 colors for each blossom. I was careful not to carry the color over the whole petal. I wanted there to be some white spaces in it and have a very watercolor feel to it. So I kept a paper towel to the side so that I could wipe off the color from the brush. Once this paint dries, it dries permanent, unlike regular watercolor brushes. But I like that because you can go back in over it and create lots of different layers and it won't reactivate the paint that you already painted on. You can wait for the ink to dry and go back over it again with your watercolored pencils as I'm doing here. If your image is still wet, you could use the tip-to-tip technique as I used earlier. You simply use your water brush to pull the paint right off of the tip of your pencil and go over your image again. I'm going back to my first image that I painted in here, and I'm going over it with a darker colored pencil to deepen the shadows. I'm going to die cut my images now, and I'm using some micropore tape to tape these in place. The dies leave a white border around the edges, and I do really like that. These images are just so beautiful. I plan on using them with a lot of different mediums in the future. I'm cutting down another piece of Canson XL watercolor paper to 5 1/4 by 4. And first of all, I'm going to stamp the sentiment onto that using my Mini Misty. I'm just using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink for that. I put out my craft mat so that I could blend some ink onto this panel now. I'm using Salty Ocean Distress ink. I just want a soft color to go behind these flowers that I'm going to glue onto this panel. I tap off the ink onto a piece of scrap paper before I bring it to the panel, just so I don't get any harsh circles on there. It does blend really well on this Canson paper. I'm going to raise up this panel onto a piece of fun foam, so I'm using some score tape here, and this is a very strong adhesive. I'm putting plenty on so that it won't fall apart in the mail. The fun foam is a little bit smaller than my card panel, just so you can't see the edges when I adhere it to the card. I used a piece of blue cardstock to create my card panel, and it's a standard A2 size card. The dimensions are 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, so my card panel that I'm going to attach to it is just a little bit smaller so that you can see the blue edging around it. Now to attach all of these beautiful images, and I'm using some multimedia matte glue for that. Before I got to this point where I could add the glue and start attaching them, I did fuss around with it for quite a while. The sentiment I used for this card is from another Altenew stamp set called Floral Frame. I just love the look of this sentiment. I've used it many times before. I'm using my pencil to make little dots so I don't forget where I want this image to go. And then once I glue it down, I can just erase the pencil marks. This would be a great stamp set for a springtime card or even an Easter card. There is so much you can do with this set. For a finishing touch, I'm going to use some pretty pink Posh clear droplets. I'm using the 6mm as well as the 4mm, and I'm gluing them on with some glossy accents. I just love the effect that these clear droplets give to your card. I don't know why I don't use them more. And that finishes off my card for today. Please like, subscribe, and share this video on your favorite social media. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and happy spring, everyone. It's finally here. Bye.